Awesome. As Andrew said, my name is Justin Sabarre. I'm one of the co-founders of Pushr Video. With this talk today, I want to share some things that I've learned over the course of the years about making videos. So basically give you guys some tips. So if you did have the time, or if you did want to produce your own videos, you'd have a decent starting point on what to do. So before I get into everything, I just want to quickly talk about Pushr. This is the plug of the company. It's going to be really short. So we specialize in making videos for startups, tech companies, crowdfunding, but we also do corporate videos. We take your goals and objectives and create a video with that. So we do everything from coming up with the creative concept, coming up with scripts, hiring actors if we need actors, finding locations, shooting the video, editing it, and adding graphics. Basically everything in-house from start to finish, concept to completion. My partner and I, we started Pushr because we saw that there was a hole in the market. As a startup, it's hard. Like, where do you go if you want to get a video, right? You can go the traditional route and go to a large advertising company, but they're going to charge you an arm and a leg. Or maybe the other route is asking your friend, hey, I have a friend that does this video, or maybe even getting a student, maybe someone that's new to making videos, just because they're a cheaper option, right? But with Pushr, we wanted to be kind of that in-between option, the in-between option between the friend of a friend, the student, and the large production house. Right? We wanted to be able to provide professional quality video production that a student or someone starting out might not be able to provide, but at the same time provide it at a much less cost than a large advertising agency. Okay? And what we wanted to do is we wanted to be the go-to video resource for startups. So you probably have an amazing story or product. We just wanted to be able to help you tell it. Okay? So let me get into the meat of the presentation. Now we're talking about Pushr. First of all, let's talk about how amazing video is. And I don't really have to show all these points. Everyone knows how effective video is. Everyone knows that it's statistically more effective. Just random stats I'm gonna throw out. Video generates 1,000% more shares than text and images combined. Businesses can grow their revenue 50% faster than companies that don't use video. You can increase conversion rates. Videos help with sales. You can remove doubts with videos, right? You have the ability to capture emotion and feeling. You show people reacting to a product. You can capture a real visceral response to a product. Higher retention rates. You don't lose the people that come to your website. People are engaged when they're watching your video. People get what you're trying to do much faster. You have the ability to convey more information than text or static imagery could ever do in a short period of time. Watching something in a minute, in a minute and a half takes about 10 minutes to read, right? And let's face it, people would rather watch something than to read something, right? You can take a complex idea or product and with the magic of video, turn it into something that's simple, engaging, something that's easy for everyone to comprehend. And the key thing, too, with many startups is that you can jumpstart traction. Customers, investors now have an immediate and compelling visualization of how your product or service is or how it works. It's that sales tool, right? And I can go on forever talking about all the benefits of video, and I'm probably a little biased because that's what I do. But we all know video is key, right? But why doesn't everyone have video? There's a lot of startups out there, and I get it. You got to run lean. You might not have the budget to produce something professionally. So what I want to do with this talk is I want to give you guys some tips. So if you did have the time and you did want to produce your own video content, you could. Okay. So key tips on how to make your own videos. Just a heads up, though, like anything, there's a little bit of a learning curve with making videos. You're not going to be Steven Spielberg in a day. It takes time, practice, but you could potentially produce some really good, engaging video content And once you get how to do it, you can do it over and over again, right? It's that saying, if you give someone a fish, you feed them for a day. If you teach them how to fish, you can feed them for a lifetime, right? So first thing in terms of shooting a video is, what can you shoot? You want to shoot something that would be easy to produce. You know, something that doesn't involve actors and acting. Acting is extremely tough. I've tried acting before, and I'm horrible, right? Like I thought, okay, I should be okay with this. I know I'll run a video production company. No, I am absolutely horrible at acting. It's an amazing skill to have. I have a huge respect for actors. But do something that doesn't involve actors. You could definitely shoot something that would involve your own people, so the people that work in your company, or maybe even people like your customers. If you have a close relationship with your customers, you know, maybe ask them if they want to be in one of your videos, right? Maybe do a case study of why you know, your product benefited them, right? You could shoot a corporate video or what we call brand video of your people, you know, talking about your company, talking about your product, you know, talking about your culture, talking about the vision of the company, right? You can do interviews with customers, again, why they like your product, what it's done for them, why your product is amazing. You can interview people in the company. You can even interview people in your own company and ask them why they like working there. So you can take shots of your company, take shots of what makes it unique, and you have this culture piece that you can use for recruiting new hires, so like a recruitment video. And if your product is a little complex or has a couple of steps, you can shoot a how-to video, right? Shooting someone using a product is much easier. It's much easier to show someone using something than describing it in text on a website, right? You could even do a stop motion video. These are, you can do these really cheap. I know Herschel, they're doing some pretty cool and innovative stuff right now. If you follow them on Instagram, they have these little 15-second stop motion videos where they're showing, you know, obviously they showcase their bags, but all the types of things that go into their bags. Really cool, really easy to do. You just have to be creative. I'm sure there are tons of ways to be, you know, to create good video content that's simple and effective. It's all based on your own imagination, right? There's a story that my friend told me yesterday about an agency that started including short bio videos of basically bio videos in their sales proposals. So basically showing the people that would be working on a specific project in the proposals. And after doing this, they've significantly increased their close rates. I know what Pushr is going to be doing for the proposals now, definitely having bio videos. But it's like you start putting a face to people in the company, right? You start showing people's personalities in videos, right? And with any video that you end up kind of trying to make, you have to always make sure that there's a goal and always refer to it. Like, what's the goal? Do we want to highlight people in the company? Do we want to show how our customers, how much they love us? Do we want to build excitement around our product? Whatever you do, make sure you have a clear goal, because you don't want to invest all this time and effort into shooting something that's useless, that no one will find useful. So one key thing to know. So if you're shooting anything with people speaking, you have to make sure you know what you want to be talking about. So having a script there, right? And with that, being conversational is key. You know, you don't want to use lingo or any marketing speak. You want to be as natural as possible. You want to be real, authentic, right? Please use your regular vocabulary. Don't say words that you wouldn't normally use. It's weird, but you can tell when someone is saying words they don't normally use. Okay? It's a thing. And just focus on the key points in the video. You don't have to tell everyone everything. If people want the details, they can read about the details in the text on the website, right? People are fine with main points, probably prefer it. Only a small percentage care about the actual nitty-gritty of things, right? You're not going to make a video super long to cater to those people that want the nitty-gritty. You're going to make a video that appeals to the mass. And a video should just be like an executive summary, right? Key points, top-level stuff only, building interest. And I touched on this earlier, but you don't want to make a video too long. The longer the video, the more chance you have to losing people. It's all about keeping it short and sweet. right? We live in a time now where we're bombarded with so much media from so many different directions that it's messed up our attention span, right? We can only focus on something for 60 to 90 seconds. Like if it's online, you can only focus on something for like a minute, right? So general rule of thumb, keep your videos from 60 to 90 seconds long. Obviously, there are some exceptions, but on average, that's how long they should be. For myself, if your video doesn't capture my interest in the first 15 to 30 seconds, I'm gone. I'm on to something new. I'm checking my emails. I'm on my timeline. I'm on my phone. I'm liking some Instagram posts, right? Like the key thing on this, like the next point is probably the most important point on this slide. Don't be boring, right? I know it's easier said than done, but you can have the most interesting product out there. But if you're boring about how you talk about it, game over, right? With video is amazing because you have the ability to convey emotion. You can be serious. You can be fun, right? All these things. So make use of it. Then we get a little bit more technical. So talking about composition. So this is when you're considering, how you're planning that shoot. So this is something that photographers will probably know. So, but for everyone else, so depth is key. So what I mean by depth is if you're shooting something, right, shooting a person talking, like for example, like maybe they're right there, you want to make sure that there's tons of space behind them. You want to make it looks nicer that way. It's a higher production quality, and you just want that deep background. And make sure you decorate the shot. This is a big one. Make the background look nice. Put plants in the background. Get things that colors that accent things and put that in the background, and just make it look nice, right? Just look at your camera viewer and just see what you're getting, right? And be clean. Like this is a big pet peeve of mine. I see a lot of videos where people are like doing those kind of like interview brand pieces, and the backgrounds are so dirty, right? You have the ability to clean, right? It'll make it look much nicer. And like you can still, like if you have a cool office, you can still capture the character of the cool office after you clean it. Okay? There's this another thing called the rule of thirds. I won't get into like the actual like definition of this one, but basically it just means if you're shooting something or someone, put them on the side. Don't shoot them from the middle, right? You get a better shot when they're on the side because you get to see the background. Big fan of white walls. It just makes videos look that much cleaner and nicer. And then just a general rule too is that if you're just like wear color, right? Try to, when you're shooting, wear color. Avoid the blacks, the grays, wear pastels, and just be mindful of how whatever you're wearing is going to complement whatever's in the background. Lighting. I can't tell you how often people just overlook lighting. It's a huge one. So a couple of key tips here are, never shoot facing a window. Like if I was shooting a video right now, and I'm like shooting right here, and there's a person right there, like this is a no-no because the window will be like, it'll be all white behind them, but it'll drown out that person's face. So never shoot facing directly the window. You can shoot like this way. This is amazing because you're taking advantage of the natural daylight, which daylight is amazing, but never shoot directly. Also, if you're shooting in a dark room that doesn't have daylight, just get lights. Make sure the room is well lit. If you can't, if like worst case scenario, you can always rent lights. You can get separate lights. There's tons of production rental companies around town. And the thing you want to remember with lights is that you just want to make your subject or your person stand out. You just want to make them look good. You're not blasting them with light. You're just, putting the light, like you want to have flattering angles on the light, right? You don't want a light that's like coming down or like looking up at them, emphasizing their like double chin or whatever, right? Like make sure it's flattering. You can also do things like soften lights too. So you can put like a sheet over a light and diffuse it, right? Make the light softer. There's tons of YouTube tutorials out there on lighting. And lighting is huge when it comes to video. Also, another thing, if you're shooting outside, don't shoot someone with the sun in their face. You know, you don't want them to be squinting. You don't want them to be all like sweaty or anything. You can get what's called a reflector or a bounce and reflect sunlight onto their face to lighten them up. Audio. This is another big pet peeve of mine. Never use the internal mic in the camera, right? When you're recording something with the camera, the person's far away, and you can't rely on that mic getting whatever they're saying if they're like 10 feet away. So always have a separate audio recording device, right? And I know many of you probably don't have an audio recorder at home, but this could, again, easily be rented around town in the various production house rentals, rental places. You can also go to Long and McQuaid on Terminal. But all you would need is an audio recording device, a boom pole, maybe not even a boom pole, but like a shotgun mic. And this is cheap. You could probably rent this stuff for $40 to $50 a day. But it makes a huge difference in terms of overall video quality when you have good audio, right? And with the shotgun mic too, it helps out if you work in an area or if you're recording something that's in an area that's super loud. That shotgun mic will only get whatever you're pointing it at. So it'll only get, if you're pointing it at the person, it'll only get the person talking, right? Like, good quality audio goes a long way. Shooting. So always have a list of what you want to shoot, right? It saves time, it's more efficient, just have that schedule there. Also, don't worry about getting everything in one shot. You know, even pros have trouble getting everything in one shot. You know, go section by section. You know, and then at the end, edit everything together, right? So when you're recording anything, again, with talking, so you have the script, right? You want to record people talking in a kind of a normal shot, right? And just get multiple takes of that. Then you want to take, record the exact same thing closer up, right? And then just get multiple takes of that. And then even if you, and like try another thing and get a different angle, right? And just record that as well. So you want to give yourself options with multiple takes. And then also you want to get some B-roll stuff, right? This is easy stuff, get shots of logos, office decor, people working, just so if you're doing an interview, you have more than just talking heads, right? You have some other things that you can cut to. It just keeps the video engaging, and you can even with B-roll stuff, you can even have people talking over that B-roll stuff. So by having the normal shots, the close-ups, the different angles, B-roll footage, you have all these different options that you can create this seamless cuts in your video. So your video will flow perfectly, but we just be cutting from different scenes, cutting from a normal shot to a close-up to some B-roll. So you have way more options. Also, just make sure you look professional too, right? Just look at yourself in the mirror. Appropriate wardrobe is key. If your product's super fun, dress down. Another thing too is de-shine your face, right? I'm probably pretty shiny right now. Shiny faces on video are a no-no. So this is a big one. Women, here's your chance to put makeup on guys, right? Super fun. If you don't have access to makeup, wash or dry your face before you record. And just general camera tech stuff. Make sure you're recording in the right frame rate, which is 24 frames per second or 24p. And just make sure, oh yeah, go ahead.
That seems low in terms of frame rate.
Oh, that's standard, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Not for sport.
Yeah, I guess not for
Not
sport.
for motion.
Yeah.
Motion you need higher.
Yeah, if you're doing static
right.
interviews, yeah. And just make sure to shoot as on as flat a camera profile as possible to give yourself more room to adjust later in the colors and the looks in editing. So try to set neutral or flat for best results. Editing. So editing, finishing touches. This is when you're matching the video that you took with the audio that you have. You just want to make sure that everything flows. One huge thing is the color. You want to make sure everything pops, right? Would you ever post a photo on Instagram without taking a filter? Probably not. Maybe like 1 in 10, right? So every video needs help with coloring. Most amateur videographers forget this. It bugs me. If you can edit a photo in Photoshop, you should be easily able to edit something in Premiere, which is Adobe's video editing software. It's as easy as adding a little contrast and balancing to color levels. And another thing, you want to pick the right music. Music is huge. Fun, serious, corporate music helps the tone, or set the tone. You know, options exist out there. There's tons of stock music sites out there that are cheap. Pick a song that matches the brand, matches the content of the video. This is also when you're going to be overlaying any text. So this is when you're going to be adding people's titles, John Smith, CEO of whatever. In terms of editing software, Premiere Pro, you can get a 30-day trial, free trial right now for Adobe. I think it's $60 a month to get the whole Creative Suite. You can even edit with iMovie, which is stock with every MacBook or iMac. Yeah.
Well, using Blender, it's free.
Oh, yeah. So there's another option, Blender. Yeah.
You were talking about just in terms of the finishing product and using separate audio. How easy is it to reintegrate that audio back into the video itself? Because they're coming from separate channels, I'm assuming, at that point. And are you needing local software to do that? Can be done on the cloud? How do you stitch those together? Yeah.
It's easily done. You know, when you see you obviously have to make sure whenever you match up the scenes, right?
No, I mean, like literally, how would you, you know, remember you're talking to amateurs, not professionals, right? So, you know, I see that as a daunting task of trying to get that mouth moving with the audio and sitting there for hours, like being slightly out of whack.
It's easy to match. You're just taking the audio files that you have, putting it on a timeline and matching it up with the video file that you have. So you press play, the audio will go, the video will go. And then you can just adjust, right? It's simple.
Okay. All right.
You just have to make sure that you match up that video recording with that audio recording. So that's when you hear, like you've probably seen it before, it's like, you know, take one, or scene 3A, take one, scene whatever, take two or whatever, right? That's kind of how you match them up. And you know, when you there's another thing, you know, the slate or the clapper, like that's an easy way of synchronizing it too. So you just match it up whenever you hear that sound. Yeah, editing, it's not my forte. I don't do any editing. I'm more of the kind of operations marketing. But you know, it's something, you know, obviously it will take, you know, a little bit of time to learn, but there's tons of YouTube tutorials out there, right? But it's not super hard by any means.
There's also, it's called Video Mic Pro, and it's Rode Video Mic Pro, and just go directly into your camera, so you don't have to manually sync it after.
Sure, another option, yeah. I defer to my business partner for all technical camera-related needs, right? So, like, what kind of gear do you need? Nothing special. You know, if you have a DSLR, you're set. You know, it's what everyone shoots with nowadays. If you understand basic photography fundamentals, you're a step ahead of everyone else, because you probably already know about lighting and composition. Another thing you'll need is just a couple lenses. So generally, we recommend a lens for close-ups, right? And a lens for kind of normal wider shots, especially if you're shooting in a smaller space. So you'll want a lens that can get a little wider with less room. Also, the faster the lens, the better. We generally recommend something with a lower aperture that can capture better quality images with less light. And it'll also give you that kind of blurry background when you do close-ups. But I'm sure like everyone has, like if you don't have this stuff, I'm sure you guys have 5 friends that probably have this. You know, everyone nowadays is an amateur photographer. So, you know, just ask around. But if you can't get it from them, there's tons of rental houses around town where you can rent camera gear, lenses, lighting, audio, and you can get it relatively cheap. It's just on a day rate. Another tip with renting gear too, if you rent on a Saturday morning, you don't have to return until Monday, but you only pay 1 day, just because they're not open on Sundays and you can't just return things on Sundays.
That's a good one.
Right? So if you're gonna do any shooting and renting stuff, shoot on the Saturday and Sunday.
8.5.
Also, the Vancouver Public Library has this new thing called the Inspiration Labs. I've never been there yet, but high performance computers, editing software, sound booths, recording studios, tons of classes. You know, I've heard it's amazing. So yeah, I hope many of you found this useful. This is, like, ideally, you know, this could give you a basic start on, you know, everything that, you know, if you wanted to make a video. But, you know, if you need anything more professional, or you don't have time to do this, or not confident in your skills, or, you know, just like maybe like what Pushr's doing, please don't hesitate to call us. As some of you might have saw, we're offering a 25% discount on video services right now for the top 40 companies. If there's anyone in here that's not part of the top 40, we can extend that offer to you as well. And if you just need any more tips or a copy of this deck or whatever, please do not hesitate to call. Yeah, we're happy to help out wherever we can. And that concludes everything. Does anyone have any questions?
Can you just give us a ballpark? I've heard, based on the finished product, it's about $1,000 to $2,000 a minute.
It's variable. That's kind of lower end, right? That's what a student or someone starting out would charge.
Okay.
Maybe a freelancer, right? It varies huge, right? So it varies on the complexity of the shoot. So if you have to, you know, shoot on multiple days, or if you have to travel to different locations or shoot in different locations, if you need to hire actors, yeah, it's so variable, right? To give you that kind of budget.
Have you been using drones?
We have, yeah, right. That's been really fun. Yeah, drone footage is good, but if you have too much drone footage in a video, just, you know, it loses the impact, right? But yeah, like I don't feel like a typical video that we do. Like, we've done videos for as cheap as $2,000, which is expensive as $5,000, and they're all different, right? And you know, I would say on average, you know, a video project that we would do could anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000, right? Yeah. But
if we were to estimate the hours, like an hourly rate, you know, for you,
yeah,
I guess that's like we have to budget
it. Yes,
so this is going to be 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, it takes about 4 to 6 weeks. Like, let me walk you through kind of the process, right? So, there's kind of this discovery, you know, with any startup project where you would, you know, figure out what the goals of the video would be. And we would kind of take those goals and we would come back with our thoughts on a concept. You know, how do we want to, you know, address those goals in a video, right? And it'll be a concept that would be half-baked, right? Not a fully developed concept, right? And we would attach a price tag to that. And again, that would be based on, you know, how long do we see this this whole process being, how many people we're going to have to hire, because, you know, we could have a crew shooting a video as small as 3, or we could have a crew shooting a video as big as 15, right? So it all depends on the complexity of what's needed, right? But once we come back with kind of that price tag, and if you're okay with it, we'll fully develop the concept, right? And then from then on, we'll start planning everything. So if we have to hire any actors, we'll set up the casting call. If we have to shoot any specific locations, we'll start finding those locations. Basically planning everything for the video. And then we get into the actual shooting, which, you know, we have a crew, right? And, you know, a one-day rate, like a one-day shoot, obviously it's more efficient for everyone. But if we have to shoot a video for more than, you know, 2 days, 3 days, that rate for that one day just gets amplified, right? Because and like the crew too, it's like we run pretty lean. Like we only have 3 full-time people, and we hire on a crew whenever we need these people, right? Like any startup, right? We can't carry on all that overhead, but we hire on people when we need them, right? So then we get into shooting, and then after that we get into editing. Editing is about anywhere from like 2 to 3 weeks, right? Maybe, and in that we're color correcting, we're making sure everything flows. We're putting out any graphics, any animations, or anything there, and then deliver a final version or a final draft, and then revisions after that. Editing video can range anywhere from $50 to $150 an hour. We're kind of right in the middle.
50 to 150.
Yeah. So obviously, the more complex the video, the longer it takes to edit.
So if you're going to do your own video, it sounds like you need someone dedicated for like a month.
Yeah, to edit. Or, you know, a couple weeks. Depends on how complex the video is. If it's just someone, you know, an interview type thing, you know, you're not going to need someone to edit for that long.
I have a question.
Sure.
Are you working or have you worked with companies that want maybe to produce a series of videos, or do you find, you know, like, I'm just wondering if that's like an interest, like, to
Absolutely. So we work with a company called Thinking Ape. I don't know. Yeah, mobile gaming. And they wanted a series of 15-second recruitment type videos that showcased the kind of quirky nature of the company and the culture. And they basically were like, oh, if you're weird like us, come work with us, right? So we did a series of 4 of those. Right, and those existed on their social media, obviously, but they also put them in elevators around the city. So yeah, there was, you know, an elevator advertising company and gave them a really good deal on space, so they put them on elevators.
So that was 15 seconds for 4 videos.
Yes.
And so I imagine, did you have to do 4 different locations for those videos, or did you shoot them all?
We shot them all actually at their office.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So that's another thing that people can do, I guess, is
totally
shoot a lot of content, but then cut it up and deliver it bi-weekly or weekly or something.
Absolutely, right. We're just finishing our project right now with Wildfire, and we're doing a series of 3 30-second videos. Yeah, but same type of thing, funny, quirky. They're not going to be dropping them all at the same time. It'll be staggered, right, so that you have content for a longer period of time. And then even with that, you can take that 30-second and you can cut that into a 15-second video to be used in different, you know, like maybe you can use that for Instagram instead, right? So you have the full video on YouTube, and then you have shorter Instagram edits.
Now, is that something that your company would also, if a company were to hire you, would work with the company to say, we did this video for you, but here are the other ways that you can repurpose this content? Like, is that,
yes, we would address that in the beginning, right? Yeah.
All right, we better switch over. Thank you, Justin.
All right.